An introduction to the characters, places, etc. of Mahabharata and other scriptures referred to in the Code of Eternal and Ultimate Happiness. Kurukshetra. Srila Vyasadeva has referred to the battlefield of Kurukshetra as the land of religion or Dharma Kshetra. This has a hidden meaning. According to 9.22.4 of Srimad Bhagavatam, this land is named Kurukshetra after King Kuru. The section of the Mahabharata called Shalya Parv relates the following story. Once, when Kuru Maharaj was ploughing this land, Indra, the king of the demigods, appeared there and asked him, "For what purpose are you ploughing this land?" Kuru Maharaj answered, "I am doing this so that those who give up their bodies here may attain the heavenly planets." Upon hearing this, Indra ridiculed him and returned to the heavenly planets, and the king returned to ploughing with great enthusiasm. Again and again Indra returned to deride and deliberately disturb the king. Yet Kuru Maharaj remained unperturbed and continued his work. Finally, on the insistence of other demigods, Indra became pleased with Kuru Maharaj and gave him the benediction that whoever gives up his body or is killed in battle on this land will certainly attain the heavenly planets. For this reason, this land, known as Dharma Kshetra, was chosen for the battle. Also, in Javal Upanishad 1.2, Kurukshetra is described as Yajna Sthali, a place for the demigods and all living entities to perform sacrifice. One attains the heavenly planets and even the topmost planet of Lord Brahma by performing sacrifice at this place. Also, it is written in the Shatpat Brahman that the demigods performed worship of the Lord in Kurukshetra. Therefore, sages have named this place as Dev Yajnam. The phrase Dharma Kshetra is composed of two words, Dharma and Kshetra. The word Kshetra indicates land for cultivation. When a farmer waters the rice field, a type of weed called Shyama grass also grows along with the rice plants. This grass looks exactly like the rice plant. It grows by taking the water used for the rice field and covers the rice plants. Eventually, the rice plants dry up. Therefore, an expert farmer uproots these weeds because they are harmful to the rice crop. In the same way, in this land of Kurukshetra, Bhagwan Sri Krishna maintained and nourished Yudhishthir Maharaj, the personification of religion, along with his associates, by annihilating those who were anti-religious, pseudo-religious and irreligious, such as Duryodhana and others. The land between the rivers Saraswati and Drishadvati is known as Kurukshetra. At this place, both the great sage Mudgal and Prithu Maharaj performed austerities. Sri Parshuram performed sacrifices at 5 different places in this land after annihilating the warrior class. Previously, this Kshetra was known as Samant Panchak, but later it became famous as Kurukshetra, named after Maharaj Kuru. Sanjay. Sanjay was the son of a charioteer named Gavalgam. He was completely conversant with the conclusions of all scriptures, and he was generous and dedicated to religious principles. Because of these virtuous qualities, Grandsire Bhishma appointed him and Vidura as Dhritarashtra's royal ministers. Sanjay was considered to be a second Vidura and was also an intimate friend of Arjuna. By the mercy of Sri Vyasadeva, he had received divine vision and was thus able to narrate all the events of the war to Dhritarashtra. This enabled him to view the battle of Kurukshetra from within the distant royal palace in Hastinapura. Maharaj Yudhishthir also described Sanjay as sweet-speaking, well-wisher of everyone, who had a peaceful temperament and who was always satisfied and impartial. He was fixed in moral conduct and was never agitated by others' ill behavior. Because he always remained unbiased and fearless, his speech was fully consistent with religious principles. Duryodhan. Among the 100 sons of Dhritarashtra and Gandhari, Duryodhan was the eldest. At the time of his birth, there were various bad omens, which caused many saintly persons such as Vidura to fear that Duryodhan would be the cause of destruction of the Kuru dynasty. According to the Mahabharata, Duryodhan took birth from a part or amsha of Kali. He was sinful, cruel, and a disgrace to Kuru dynasty. At the time of his name-giving ceremony, the family priests and the other learned astrologers, seeing the indications of his future, gave him the name Duryodhan, one who fights against the injunctions of religious warfare. Finally, after receiving a hint from Sri Krishna, Bhim killed him in such a way that he would make one's hair stand on end. Dronacharya. Dronacharya taught the science of weaponry and warfare to the sons of both Pandu and Dhritarashtra. He was the son of the great sage Bharadwaja. Because he was born from a Drona, a water pot, he became famous by the name Drona. He was a great teacher of weaponry and was similarly conversant in knowledge of Veda and Vedanga, that is, auxiliary portions of the Vedas. After pleasing Maharishi Parshuram, Dronacharya learned from him the secrets of the science of archery and other sciences. Since he had received the benediction that he could die at the time of his own choosing, no one could kill him. After being insulted by his childhood friend, King Drupad of Panchal, Dronacharya went to Hastinapur to earn a livelihood. Impressed by Drona's qualifications, Grandsire Bhishma appointed him as the Acharya, one who teaches by example, to instruct and train Duryodhan, Yudhishthir, and the other princes. Arjun was his most dear disciple. In the battle of Kurukshetra, King Duryodhan, by polite persuasion and diplomacy, appointed Dronacharya as the commander-in-chief of the Kaurav army after Bhishma was no longer in the battle. Drishtadyumna. Drupad, the king of Panchal, performed a sacrifice with a desire to beget a son who would kill Dronacharya. From the fire of the sacrifice, a boy appeared holding armor and weapons. At the same time, a voice from the sky predicted that this son of Drupad would kill Drona. The Brahmins named this heroic-looking boy Drishtadyumna. He learned the science of archery from Dronacharya, who was extremely benevolent. Although Dronacharya knew that one day Drishtadyumna would kill him, still, with great effort, he trained him in weaponry. Thus, Acharya Drona was killed by his own disciple in the war of Mahabharata. Yuyudhana. Yuyudhana is another name for the heroic Satyaki. He was a very dear servant of Sri Krishna, extremely valiant and an Atirathi among the commanders-in-chief of the Yadav army. He learned the secrets of the weaponry from Arjun. In the Mahabharata conflict, he fought on the side of the Pandavas. Virat. Virat was the pious king of the land of Matsya. The Pandavas spent 1 year incognito under his shelter. His daughter Uttara later married Abhimanyu, the famous son of Arjun. Virat was killed in the Mahabharata war along with his sons Uttar, Shweta and Shankha. Drupad. Drupad was the son of Preshta, the king of Panchal. Since Maharaj Preshta and Maharishi Bharadwaj, the father of Dronacharya, were friends, Drupad and Dronacharya were also friends in their childhood. Later, when Drupad became king, Dronacharya approached him for financial help, but Drupad did not properly respect him. Dronacharya could not forget this disrespect. When Arjun completed his education in warfare, Dronacharya asked Arjun to capture Drupad and offer him at Drona's feet as Guru Dakshina, an offering to one's Guru. Arjun followed his order. Dronacharya took half of Drupad's kingdom and then released him. To avenge this insult, Drupad performed a fire sacrifice in which Draupadi and Drishtadumna appeared from the fire. Chekitan. Chekitan was a Yadav in the dynasty of Vrishni. He was a very chivalrous Maharathi and was one of the commanders-in-chief of the Pandav army. In the Mahabharata war, he met his death at the hands of Duryodhan. Kashi Raja. Kashi Raj was the king of Kashi, the present-day Varanasi. He was born from a part of the demon named Dirghajibha. A valiant and courageous hero, he fought on the side of Pandavas. Purujit and Kunti Bhoja. Purujit and Kunti Bhoja were brothers of Kunti, the mother of the Pandavas, and were thus the maternal uncles of the Pandavas. In the Mahabharata war, they were killed by Dronacharya. Shabya. Shabya was the father-in-law of Maharaj Yudhishthir. His daughter Devika was married to Yudhishthir Maharaj. He is known as Narapungava, the best of men, and was recognized as powerful, heroic warrior. Yudhamanyu and Uttamauja. The valiant, powerful blood brothers Yudhamanyu and Uttamauj were princes of the Panchal kingdom. At the end of the Mahabharata war, they were killed by Ashwathama. Draupadi. Draupadi gave birth to a son from each of the 5 Pandavas. Their names were Pratibindya, Sutasoma, Shrutkarma, Shatanika, and Shrutasena. Collectively, they were known as Draupadi. Their fathers were Yudhishthir, Bhima, Arjun, Nakul, and Sahadev, respectively. At the end of the Mahabharata war, Ashwathama, desiring to please his friend Duryodhan, murdered these 5 princes at night as they slept. Kripacharya. In the lineage of the great sage Gautam, there was a saint by the name of Sharadwan. Once, after seeing the beautiful heavenly damsel Janapadi, his semen spontaneously fell on the clump of the forest grass. This semen became divided into 2 parts, from which a boy and a girl were born. The girl was named Kripi and the boy Kripa. Kripa later became renowned as a great warrior. Shardwan Rishi personally endowed Kripa with the expertise in the science of archery and the other arts. Kripa was exceedingly valiant and pious. In the battle of Mahabharata, he fought on the side of the Kauravas. Ashwathama. Kripi, the sister of Kripacharya, was married to Dronacharya. From her womb, Ashwathama was born. Ashwathama was a combination of portions of Lord Shiva, Yama, the god of death, and of lust and anger. He learned the scriptures and the science of weaponry from his father, Dronacharya. He also accepted the responsibility of being the last commander-in-chief of the Kauravas in the battle of Mahabharata. He murdered the 5 sons of Draupadi while they were in deep sleep, having mistaken them for the 5 Pandavas. In retaliation, the Pandavas insulted him severely and forcibly removed a jewel that was a part of his forehead. After this insult, he burned with anger and attempted to kill the unborn Parikshit Maharaj, who was the sole heir to the Pandav dynasty. He targeted his Brahmastra weapon at the child in the womb of Uttara, the wife of Abhimanyu. However, Bhagwan Sri Krishna, who is always affectionate to his devotees, invoked his weapon, named Sudarshan Chakra, to protect Maharaj Parikshit in the womb. Vikarna. Vikarna was one of the 100 sons of Dhritarashtra. He was killed by Bhimasena in the war of Mahabharata. Som, Datta. Somadatta was the son of Bahalik and the grandson of King Pratik of the Kuru dynasty. In the battle of Mahabharata, he was killed by Satyaki. Bhuri Shrava. Bhuri Shrava was the son of King Somadatta in the dynasty of the moon, Chandra Vancha. He was a highly courageous and famous king. In the Mahabharata conflict, he was killed by Satyaki. Kapi Dhwaja. Kapi Dhwaja is a name for Arjun that denotes the presence of the mighty monkey or Kapi Hanuman on the flag or Dhwaja of Arjuna's chariot. Arjuna was very proud of his skill in archery. Once, he was strolling on the bank of a river carrying his Gandiva bow. There, he saw an old monkey paying obeisances to him. Arjuna asked, "Who are you?" The monkey politely replied, "I am Hanuman, servant of Sri Rama." Arjun then asked, "Are you the servant of the same Rama who, unable to make a bridge of arrows over the ocean, employed monkeys to build a bridge of stones?" It was only then that his army could cross the ocean. If I had been there at that time, I would have built such a strong bridge of arrows that the entire army could have easily crossed over. Hanuman replied very politely, "But your bridge would not have endured the weight of even the weakest monkey in Sri Rama's army." Arjuna said, "I am going to make the bridge of arrows over this river, and you may cross it with as heavy a load as you can carry." Hanuman then expanded himself into a huge form and jumped towards the Himalayan mountains. He returned with heavy stones tied to every hair on his body. As soon as he placed one foot on the bridge, it started to quiver, but surprisingly enough, it did not break. Arjuna trembled in fear. Remembering his worshipable deity Sri Krishna, he prayed, "O Lord, the honor of the Pandavas is in your hands." When Hanuman put the full weight of both his feet on the bridge, he was astonished to find that it did not break. If the bridge did not break, it would be a matter of great shame for him. Within his heart, Hanuman remembered his worshipable Lord Sri Ramachandra. Meanwhile, his glance fell below the bridge, where he saw not water flowing but the streams of blood. Hanuman immediately jumped off the bridge and peered below it. "Oh, what is this?" he cried. "My worshipable Lord Sri Ramachandra is personally supporting the bridge of sharp arrows on his back." He at once fell at the lotus feet of Sri Ramachandra. At this same moment, Arjun saw the Lord not as Sri Rama but as Sri Krishna. Both Hanuman and Arjun lowered their heads in shame before the worshipable Lord, who said, "There is no difference between these two forms of mine. I, Krishna, in the form of Sri Rama, came to establish the limit of morality and proper religious conduct, or Maryada. And in this very form of Leela Purushottam, Krishna, the Supreme Lord who enjoys transcendental pastimes, I am the personification of the nectar of all rasas. From today onward, you, who are both my servants, should become friends." In a battle in the near future, the mighty Hanuman situated on the flag of Arjuna's chariot will give him protection in all aspects. For this reason, Hanuman graced the flag of Arjuna's chariot in the battle of Mahabharata. Arjun thus received the name Kapidhwaja, or one who has a monkey on his flag. Sandipani Muni. Sandipani Muni was a famous sage belonging to the dynasty of the great sage Kashyap. He lived in the city of Avanti, the present-day Ujjain. While the spiritual masters of the whole universe, Sri Krishna and Baladeva, were enacting their human-like pastimes in order to set an example for others, they accepted Sandipani Muni as their instructing spiritual master or Shiksha Guru. While living in his ashram, they performed the pastime of learning the 64 arts in 64 days. In his Sararth Darshini commentary on Srimad Bhagavatam, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has indicated that Sandipani Muni was a Shaivite, the follower of Lord Shiva. Why then did Krishna and Baladeva accept him as their guru? In answer to this, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur writes that if they had accepted a Vaishnav guru, he would have immediately recognized Sri Krishna as the original Supreme Personality of Godhead, and Sri Krishna's pastime of learning would not have taken place. Therefore, these two brothers intentionally went to the devotee of Lord Shiva, Sandipani Muni, the son of the renowned Yogamaya Purnamashi of Vraja. Madhu Mangal and Nandi Mukhi, the famous friends of Krishna, are the son and daughter of Sandipani Muni. Jaya Dratha. The great epic Mahabharata tells of King Jayadratha, one of the many demons who received such a clever benediction from Lord Shiva. Duryodhan, the paternal cousin of the 5 Pandav brothers, had given his sister Dushala in marriage to King Jayadratha, and therefore the king had also become like a brother-in-law of the Pandavas. Once, Jayadrath tried to kidnap the Pandavas' wife Draupadi, desiring strongly to make her his own wife. As he forced her onto his chariot, she admonished him, crying, "I am the wife of the Pandavas. When they catch you, they will punish you and kill you." Jayadrath's arrogance prevented him from hearing her, and he continued his abduction. Meanwhile, the sage Narada approached the Pandavas and informed them, "Oh, I saw Jayadrath taking away Draupadi, and she was weeping." 2 of the Pandavas, Bhim and Arjun, immediately chased after Jayadrath. Bhim dismounted his chariot and ran faster than Jayadrath's horses. With his bow and arrows, Arjun created a fire that surrounded the chariot of Jayadrath, who was then captured and could not move. Severely beaten by Bhima and arrested by Arjuna, Jayadrath was bound to the chariot and taken to where Yudhishthir Maharaj had been staying with Draupadi. Bhim and Arjun spoke to Yudhishthir, their respected senior brother. Bhim urged him, "I want to kill Jayadrath. Please order me to kill him." In support of Bhim, Arjun said, "Jayadrath has performed a heinous act and should be killed." King Yudhishthir replied, "The offense was committed against Draupadi. We should take the case to her, and we will do whatever she orders." When Jayadrath was brought at the feet of Draupadi, she mercifully told her husbands, "Don't kill him, forgive him. He is our brother-in-law. If you kill him, your cousin sister will be widowed, and she will weep for the rest of her life." Bhim and Arjun then approached Lord Krishna and appealed him, "What should we do? We have vowed to kill Jayadrath, and now Draupadi tells us to forgive him." Krishna replied, "For one who has been honored, dishonor is worse than death." Arjun then shaved King Jayadrath's head, leaving 5 patches of hair, and he shaved one side of his face, leaving the other side unshaven. Jayadrath felt humiliated, and after being released by Bhim and Arjun, he considered it better to have died. He thought, "I will somehow take revenge." Thus, absorbed, he went to Gangotri in the Himalayas and undertook a severe type of penance to please Lord Shiva. After some months, he gave up all food, water, and bodily activities and was about to die. At this point, Lord Shiva came before him and asked what boon he wanted as a result of his austerity. Jayadrath replied, "I want revenge against Pandavas. I want to defeat and kill all of them." Lord Shiva told him, "You can defeat the Pandavas, but only Yudhishthir, Bhim, Nakul and Sahadev, not Arjun." Jayadrath said, "If you cannot benedict me to my full satisfaction, then please grant that neither Arjun nor anyone else will be able to kill me." Lord Shiva replied, "I can grant you this. If your head is severed and falls on the ground, the person who caused this will die immediately. Your life will be saved and your head will rejoin your body. You may be killed hundreds of thousands of times, but you will not die. On the other hand, if your severed head falls into your father's hands and he throws it on the ground, then you will die. Jayadratha was satisfied, thinking, my father would never do this. When the battle of Kurukshetra began, Jayadratha took the side of Pandava's enemy, Duryodhana. One evening, during the battle, as the sun was setting, Jayadratha's father was absorbed in prayer and making an offering of water to the sun god. Arjun saw this opportune moment. With the skillful release of an arrow, he severed Jayadratha's head from his body and caused it to fall into the hands of the meditating father. Startled and without thought, Jayadratha's father tossed his head on the ground. Then, opening his eyes, he exclaimed, "What was that wet thing?" Seeing that he had just thrown his son's head, he began to cry, oh my son, you are now dead." Dhritarashtra, a pivotal figure in the epic Mahabharata, was a Kuru king and the father of the Kauravas with his capital at Hastinapur. Born to Vichitravirya's first wife Ambika, he was blind from birth. Despite his physical limitation, he married Gandhari, who, in solidarity, blindfolded herself for life. Together, they had 100 sons and one daughter, Dushala. Additionally, Dhritarashtra fathered Yuyutsu, a son with his wife's maid. While Dhritarashtra willingly ceded the crown to his younger brother Pandu, his visual impairment, combined with a deep-seated desire for power, led to a tragic obsession with the throne. This obsession, coupled with his inability to see the true nature of his son Duryodhana's evil schemes, contributed to the catastrophic events that unfolded in the Mahabharata. His indirect support of Duryodhana's heinous acts, including the humiliation of Draupadi in the king's court, solidified his tragic role in the epic's narrative. Pandavas. The Pandavas, 5 legendary brothers, Yudhishthira, Bhima, Arjun, Nakul, Sahadeva, form the heart of the Hindu epic Mahabharata. Sons of Pandu, the king of Kuru, were fathered by different devas or demigods due to Pandu's inability to naturally conceive children. Married to Draupadi, the princess of Panchal, the Pandavas founded the city of Indraprastha. However, their peaceful reign was shattered when a game of dice led to the Pandavas losing their kingdom to their cousins, the Kauravas. Forced into exile for 13 years, the Pandavas returned to claim their rightful inheritance, leading to the devastating Kurukshetra war. With the divine guidance of Krishna, the Pandavas ultimately triumphed. Bhima, the second of the Pandava brothers, was renowned for his immense strength and prowess in combat, particularly with the mace. His arch-rival was Duryodhana, the eldest of the Kauravas, who harbored a deep-seated jealousy towards the Pandavas. Bhima's unwavering loyalty to his brothers and his fearsome strength made him a formidable opponent to Duryodhana. In the climactic Kurukshetra war, Bhima fulfilled his vow to kill Duryodhana in a fierce mace duel, avenging the wrongs inflicted upon his family. Jad Bharat. Jad Bharat, a central figure in Srimad Bhagavatam, embodies the ideals of spiritual detachment and inner wisdom. Once a powerful king named Bharat, he had renounced his throne to pursue a life of asceticism and devotion. However, in his final moments, he became overly attached to a deer, leading to his rebirth as Jad Bharat. In this new life, he intentionally lived as if he were dull and mentally impaired, using his outward appearance to shield himself from worldly distractions and attachments. Despite being mistreated and misunderstood, Jad Bharat maintained an unwavering connection with his spiritual life, refusing to engage with material pursuits. His life story is a profound reflection on the dangers of attachment, the nature of karma, and the path to liberation or moksha. Through his encounters, such as being forced to carry a palanquin for a king, Jad Bharat revealed the depth of his wisdom, reminding others that true freedom lies not in external circumstances but in the soul's unshakable connection to the divine. His journey is a timeless lesson in the importance of focusing on spiritual growth and the fleeting nature of worldly life, making him an inspiring example for those seeking higher consciousness. For further elaboration, one may refer to Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 9. Saubhari Rishi. Saubhari Rishi is a fascinating sage from the Srimad Bhagavatam whose life story serves as a powerful lesson on the perils of sensory indulgence and the transformative power of devotion. Known for his deep spiritual practices and long periods of meditation, Saubhari performed intense austerities under the water of Yamuna river. Despite his advanced state of asceticism, a momentary distraction, observing the playful activities of fish, stirred desires within him. Overcome by longing for material pleasures, he left his meditative state and entered the worldly life, marrying numerous princesses and indulging in sensory enjoyment. However, Saubhari Rishi's eventual realization of the futility of material desires led him back to the path of renunciation. His story highlights the delicate balance between spiritual pursuit and the enticements of the material world, showing that even great sages can be tested, but the return to devotion is always available. Saubhari's life exemplifies the enduring truth that liberation lies not in the external pleasures but in the inner connection with the divine. Please refer to Canto 9, Chapter 6 of Srimad Bhagavatam for more details. Yayati Maharaj. Yayati Maharaj, a significant figure in Srimad Bhagavatam, offers a compelling narrative about the consequences of desire and the pursuit of true contentment. A powerful and wise king, Yayati's life took a dramatic turn when he was cursed by his father-in-law Shukracharya to prematurely enter old age as a consequence of his indulgence in sensual pleasures. Desperate to regain his youth, Yayati struck a unique agreement with his youngest son, Puru, who agreed to exchange his youth with his father. Yayati then spent many years indulging in worldly pleasures, only to realize that no amount of sensory gratification could satisfy his desires. Eventually, weary of the endless pursuit of pleasure, he returned Puru's youth and renounced his worldly attachments. Yayati's journey from indulgence to wisdom serves as a profound lesson on the futility of material desires and the importance of self-restraint and spiritual understanding. His life highlights the eternal truth that real satisfaction comes not from external experiences but from inner contentment and spiritual realization. Vishwamitra Muni. Rishi Vishwamitra, one of the most revered sages in the Srimad Bhagavatam and the other ancient Indian scriptures, is celebrated for his remarkable transformation from a powerful king to a Brahma Rishi, a sage of the highest spiritual order. Born as Kaushika, a warrior king, his spiritual journey began after encountering the great sage Vasishtha, whose divine powers deeply humbled him. Determined to attain similar spiritual mastery, Vishwamitra renounced his kingdom and embarked on the intense austerities. However, his path was fraught with challenges, including the famous incident with the celestial nymph Menaka, who was sent by the gods to disrupt his penance. Overcome by her beauty, Vishwamitra fell into desire, momentarily diverting him from his spiritual pursuit. Yet, this setback only strengthened his resolve, and he continued his meditation and self-discipline. Through perseverance and the eventual mastery of his desires, Vishwamitra attained the esteemed status of Brahma Rishi. His story illustrates the power of determination in overcoming even the greatest temptations, demonstrating that true spiritual growth comes through persistence, inner strength, and the eventual transcendence of worldly attachments. Ajamil. Ajamil is a prominent character in Srimad Bhagavatam, whose life serves as powerful example of redemption and the transformative power of devotion. Once a virtuous Brahmin, Ajamil fell into a life of sin and moral decay after becoming infatuated with a prostitute. He abandoned his family, his duties, and his spiritual practices, living a life steeped in vice for many years. However, in his final moments as he lay on his deathbed, Ajamil unknowingly called out the name of his youngest son, Narayana, which is also a name of Lord Vishnu. Though his intent was not devotional, the mere utterance of the Lord's name had a profound impact. Associates of Vishnu or Vishnudutas appeared and intervened, preventing the messengers of Yama, the god of death, from taking Ajamil. Through this act of divine grace, Ajamil was granted a second chance to reform his life and return to path of devotion. His story emphasizes the immense power of the divine name and the mercy that flows from sincere or even inadvertent devotion, highlighting that it is never too late for a soul to be redeemed. Uddhav, a beloved devotee and a close companion of Lord Krishna, plays a significant role in Srimad Bhagavatam, symbolizing devotion, wisdom, and the pursuit of spiritual enlightenment. Known for his deep attachment to Krishna and his exceptional knowledge, Uddhav is often depicted as a counselor and a trusted confidant of the Lord. His devotion, however, transcends mere friendship. He is seen as an enlightened soul, deeply engaged in spiritual discussions with Krishna. One of the most profound episodes in Uddhava's life is his journey to Vrindavan, where he was sent by Krishna to deliver a message to the gopis, the cowherd damsels of Vrindavan. Through his interactions with them, Uddhav realized the depth of their unconditional love and pure devotion for Krishna, which transcended even the highest forms of spiritual knowledge. Touched by their unwavering bhakti, Uddhav himself aspired to achieve such devotion. His character serves as a bridge between devotion and wisdom, showcasing that the highest spiritual attainment is not intellectual knowledge, but selfless, unconditional love for the divine. Uddhava's dialogues with Krishna, known as the Uddhav Gita, are also a vital spiritual discourse in Bhagavatam, offering teachings on detachment, devotion, and the ultimate purpose of life. King Ambarish. King Ambarish, a revered figure in the Srimad Bhagavatam, is celebrated for his unwavering devotion to Lord Vishnu and his embodiment of the highest virtues of a righteous king. Renowned for his piety, humility, and selfless service, Ambarish ruled his kingdom not merely as a monarch but as a servant of the Lord, ensuring that every action he took was dedicated to pleasing Vishnu. His deep devotion was exemplified through his observance of the Ekadashi Vrata, a fasting and worship on the 11th day of the lunar cycle, which he followed with utmost sincerity. A pivotal event in his life occurred when the powerful sage Durvasa, known for his fiery temper, became enraged with Ambarish over a perceived slight during the Ekadashi rituals. Durvasa invoked a destructive demoness to punish the king, but Ambarish remained calm and steadfast in his faith. In response, the Sudarshan Chakra, the divine discus of Vishnu, appeared to protect Ambarish, forcing Durvasa to flee for his life. Despite Durvasa's hostility, Ambarish harbored no ill will and prayed for the sage's protection, showcasing his compassion and spiritual maturity. His story illustrates the power of pure devotion, self-control, and humility, as well as the protective grace of the divine that follows sincere, unwavering faith. Karna, a pivotal character in the Mahabharata, was renowned for his unmatched skills as a warrior. Though born to Kunti and the sun god Surya, he was raised by the humble charioteers Radha and Adhiratha. His rivalry with Arjuna, celebrated as the world's finest archer, fueled Karna's deep desire to prove his superiority. In his quest for mastery over warfare, he deceitfully posed as a Brahmin to study under the great teacher Parshuram, who only imparted his knowledge to Brahmanas. Upon discovering Karna's true identity, Parshurama cursed him, declaring that his skills and weapons would abandon him at the moment of greatest need. Recognizing Karna's potential, the shrewd Duryodhan made him the king of Anga and became his close ally. Despite Karna's reputation for generosity, his association with Duryodhana led him down a darker path, supporting Duryodhana's immoral actions. Karna fought on Duryodhana's side in the great Kurukshetra war, but when the fateful moment came, Parshurama's curse took effect. His weapon failed and he was ultimately slain by Arjun. Karna's life serves as a reminder that jealousy towards those devoted to Lord Krishna, like the Pandavas, and the company of the irreligious lead to inevitable ruin. Saubhadra or Abhimanyu. Bhagwan Shri Krishna's sister Subhadra was married to Arjun. The heroic Abhimanyu was born from her womb, and therefore he is known as Saubhadra. He received training in weaponry from his father Arjun and from Sri Balarama. He was an exceptionally chivalrous hero and a Maharathi. At the time of the Mahabharata war, he was 16 years old. In the absence of Arjun, Abhimanyu alone was able to penetrate the Chakravyuh, a special whale-shaped military formation that had been arranged by Dronacharya. Trapped in this formation, he was unjustly killed by the combined efforts of 7 Maharathis, including Drona, Kripacharya, and Karna. Abhimanyu, a prominent warrior in the Mahabharata, stands as a symbol of courage and youthful valor. Born to Arjun and Subhadra, Abhimanyu belonged to the illustrious Kuru dynasty and was raised in Dwarika during the Pandavas' exile. His deep connection to both the Pandava lineage and the Yadava family placed him at the crossroads of destiny in the Kurukshetra war. Notably, he was one of the few who mastered the technique to breach the formidable Chakravyuh formation. His unmatched bravery came to the forefront on the 13th day of the war, where, in the absence of his father Arjun, he single-handedly penetrated the Chakravyuh. Tragically, despite his valiant efforts, Abhimanyu was overpowered by a coalition of Kaurav warriors and violated the Kshatriya code, leading to his untimely demise at the age of 16. His legacy, however, endured through his son Parikshit, who preserved the Kuru lineage, and his story continues to inspire readers of both the Mahabharata and the Bhagavad Gita. Mrigari. The Deliverance of Mrigari by Sri Narad Muni. Once upon a time, the great sage Narada travelled to Prayag to bathe at the sacred confluence of Ganges, Yamuna, and Saraswati rivers. As he walked through a forest, Narada saw a deer, a boar, and rabbit, all pierced by arrows, suffering and half dead. Deeply saddened by their pain, Narada soon encountered the hunter responsible, Mrigari, whose body was dark and fierce like the god of death. The hunter took pleasure in leaving animals half-killed, a practice taught to him by his father. Narada asked why he inflicted such unnecessary pain on the animals, and Mrigari replied that it gave him pleasure. Narada then explained the heavy karmic consequence of such cruelty, warning that the animals he tortured would take revenge on him in future lives. Hearing this, the hunter became fearful and sought a way to atone for his sins. Narad instructed him to break his bow, promising that his food and needs would be taken care of. Though initially hesitant, the hunter trusted Narada, broke his bow, and surrendered at the sage's feet. Narada advised Mrigari to return home, give away all his wealth to the Brahmanas, and live a simple life with his wife. He was to build a small cottage by the river, care for a tulsi plant, chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra daily and rely on what was given to him by others for sustenance. The half-dead animals were then revived by Narada and fled the scene, leaving the hunter amazed. The hunter followed Narada's instructions, and news spread that he had transformed into a devotee. The villagers brought ample alms to him and his wife, though they accepted only what they needed. One day, Narada returned from his friend Parvat Muni to visit his disciple. The hunter, upon seeing him, carefully cleared the ants from the ground before offering his obeisances, showing the depth of his newfound compassion and non-violence. Parvat Muni, a friend of Narad Muni, was astonished by the hunter's transformation and praised Narada as a touchstone, able to turn even a cruel hunter into a compassionate devotee. The hunter, filled with love and devotion, chanted the Hare Krishna Mahamantra with tears in his eyes, dancing with joy in the presence of his spiritual master. The story reflects the profound power of divine association and the ability of devotion to transform even the most hardened hearts into ones filled with love, compassion, and humility. Panch Jane. After completing his education in the ashram of his guru, Sri Krishna requested his guru and his wife to accept some Guru Dakshina, a gift traditionally offered to the teacher upon the completion of one's studies. For their Guru Dakshina, his teacher and his wife asked that their son, who had drowned in the ocean, be returned to them, alive and well. Upon inquiring from the presiding deity of the ocean, Varun, Sri Krishna discovered that his guru's son had been swallowed by an ocean-dwelling demon called Panchajane. Sri Krishna killed Panchajane, but he did not find the boy inside the demon's belly. From there, Sri Krishna went to the abode of the dead, named Mahakalpuri, from where he took his guru's son and presented him to his guru as Dakshina, a token of gratitude offered to one's spiritual master. Since Sri Krishna accepted as his conch the external limb or shell from the body of the Panchajane demon, his conch is known as Panchajane. Arjun, a central figure in the epic Mahabharata, was a skilled archer and warrior from the Kuru kingdom. As the third of the 5 Pandav brothers, he played a pivotal role in the epic's climactic Kurukshetra war. Before the battle, Arjun faced a moral dilemma overcome by doubt and despair. It was then that his mentor and divine friend, Bhagwan Sri Krishna, imparted to him the profound wisdom of the Bhagavad Gita, a text that explores the nature of existence, duty, and devotion. Arjuna's journey throughout the Mahabharata is marked by his exceptional archery skills, his unwavering loyalty to his brothers, and his deep spiritual connection with Sri Krishna. He was so dear to Sri Krishna that he gave his sister Subhadra in marriage to Arjun. Arjun is an eternal associate of Sri Krishna as his friend or Sakhya Bhava. Once Narad Muni visited Dwarika. He saw Sri Krishna and Arjun lying on a bed with Krishna's feet on Arjuna's chest and Arjun's feet on Krishna's chest. Rukmani and Satyabhama were massaging Krishna's feet, and Subhadra and Draupadi were massaging Arjuna's feet. Arjun's love for Krishna as his friend is so strong and pure that he never considers putting his feet on Krishna's chest or joking with him as an offense. Before the Kurukshetra war, both Duryodhan and Arjun went to Sri Krishna for help. Sri Krishna offered Duryodhan a choice to take his formidable army or himself who will not fight. Duryodhan chose the army, thinking what help would be Sri Krishna who will not fight. Arjun was very relieved. He told Sri Krishna that if Duryodhan had chosen him, he would not have lived to fight the war. He faced numerous challenges, including a rivalry with Karna, the Kauravs' greatest warrior, and the loss of his son Abhimanyu. Yet, Arjuna's unwavering faith in Sri Krishna and his pursuit of righteousness ultimately led him to victory in the